And welcome back to the channel where we talk about only good comics. I'm Brant, and this is First. This is that series where we talk about those brand new number one issues, new character debuts, new story arcs, and the like. And this is for books that are coming out on October 22nd, 2025. Now, first of all, I apologize if my voice is a little funny. I just woke up from a nap and realized I got to do this video. So it's just it hasn't acclimated to being awake yet, so I apologize for that. Hopefully it'll get better as the show goes along. But anyway, we do have, as always, a lot to talk about. It was a smaller week this week than the past couple of weeks, but I did read 5 books from last week, I think it was, and we still got 15 books to talk about this week. So still a pretty decent sized week. Maybe not as big books as it was last week, of course, with of course DC K.O. and so on and so forth. But we do still have some interesting stuff to talk about. So we're not going to waste any time, and we're just going to get right into those recaps from last week. So the first one we're going to talk about this week is Endeavor. This is from Distillery. This is written by Stephanie Phillips with art by Mark Laming, and this was a 48-page book for $8.99. I had to see it. I couldn't remember. I don't have it in front of me. But anyway, this is one of those oversized books, obviously, and I don't typically pick up a lot of Distillery books, but I'm a big fan of Stephanie Phillips writing, so I definitely wanted to try this one out. And basically, this is about a voyage that leads to kind of some disastrous events. It's more based in reality kind of thing, maybe with a little bit of a supernatural bent to it. So basically, there was this boat in like the 1700s called the Endeavor, and this was the voyage of a Captain James Cook. And while he was on this voyage, we get this recap at the beginning of the issue too. While he was on this voyage, this sickness overtook the crew, and he thought it was from the liquid, but the doctor died. He didn't know how to handle it anyway, so everybody basically died. The ship sank to the bottom of the ocean, everything. So fast forward to present day, and they have recreated this ship, and it's a new version of the Endeavor, but it's an experience with no you know tech, no cell phones, no technology of any kind. You're trying to recreate this experience, and our characters that we're following in this is a family of 3. It's a father and his 2 kids. I believe they're twins, a daughter and a son, and they've lost their mom. And so the boy's really angry. The girl is grieving in her own way. She's also autistic, I believe it is. And so the father's just trying to navigate this. He's going on this voyage because their mother purchased all these tickets before she passed away. It was kind of her thing, so they're kind of trying to do it as a family bonding thing. But obviously, because you have that supernatural bend, and we kind of tease it going on, um, the same thing kind of happens. And by the end of this issue, which has 2 chapters split into a first and second half, by the end of this issue, um, we're basically left with the children. And that's not spoiling it. That was in the description and everything, I believe. Yeah, it says in the description 7 children are stuck aboard the ship alone and adrift at sea. So I just want to confirm that I'm not really spoiling anything, but you see how we get there. You see the conflict that arises. It's a very character driven story. Even though the main plot of the story is kind of driving it as well, you're still following mainly the girl in this. As you see on the cover there, the twins. The girl is the stronger one. They call them the twins. I think she might be a little bit older though. I think she might be a couple of years older now. Anyway, she kind of has to be the strength that holds that together. And at the same time, there are other kids that kind of bully them because they're different, and so on and so forth. So very rich story in that way. I This is not going to be for everybody. um, and typically I wouldn't go into these stories. Like I said, Stephanie Phillips drew me in, and her writing just made me connect to these characters in a certain way. The art was really strong as well, really fit the vibe. um, and yeah, so I thought it was a pretty solid first issue, kind of setting up these kids on this treacherous adventure that they're now face to deal with alone on this boat, and you don't know what's going to happen with these children going forward. And that's kind of where you're like, oh, you got to find out, because as the description said, as I explained last week, it's Lord of the Flies. It's for fans of Lord of the Flies and Yellow Jackets, and those are both things that I like. And so you're left with all these kids that have to kind of fend for themselves, for themselves, even though they don't like each other, don't really know each other, and they're forced to kind of bond together to get through this. And that aspect after this issue going forward is what interests me. So really solid read, and I'm looking forward to the next issue. Next book I'm going to talk about is Terror Bites issue 1. This is from Mad Cave, written by Mark Russell with art by Felix Ruiz. There was a lot of chatter about this book, both on TikTok and League of Comic Geeks and YouTube. Everywhere that I saw this book mentioned, I saw a lot of people excited about it, and Instagram, and just talking about it and stuff. So I definitely had to check it out. I do read a lot of Mark Russell books. This typically wouldn't be something that I would go into, but again, the chatter, and because I do like a lot of Mark Russell stuff, not all of it, some of it is not for me, and I think this one might be one that wasn't for me, but I definitely want to give it a positive, give it some positive reinforcement here, because if you really like Mark Russell's work, especially the work that he puts out there that has social commentary behind it, this is definitely in that vein. It definitely pushes that kind of narrative, and it's done well, and that's the positive part of it. It's very well done, this whole story and everything. I just don't think it's a story for me personally. Basically, the story is these alien beings come to Earth, and all the humans are gone, and they don't know why, and they find this device, and one of them puts it on to kind of see if it leads them. He felt drawn to this device and felt like it would tell him some kind of answers that he needed. And when he puts this device on, it shows him kind of the perspective of this person that created this device, and what happened when he created this tech that basically lets you live a happy experience through your death. So in other words, instead of going through death like you would, however it happens for an individual, you get to live it peacefully throughout this. It claims to be non-invasive surgery, a surgical procedure that connects this device to your head and allows you to die, in the way that you would want to die. It's really kind of dark and grim, and it's kind of a commentary on how technology has invaded our lives, has become one with us, and all this stuff, and the price you pay for that. And that's kind of the message in this. And yeah, so interesting, very interesting. Social commentary strong, and anybody that's into that kind of storytelling can definitely attach to this one. For me, this just wasn't the story for me. But yeah, definitely check it out if any of that sounds interesting to you. Next, we have Sinister's 6, issue number 1. This is part of the X-Men Age of Revelation line, and this is written by David Marquez with art by Rafael Loureiro. And basically, this is called a heist, and we open up with the Daughters of the Dragon, Misty Knight and Colleen Wing, and they are going through the forest, and they get attacked, and they basically get attacked by Sinister's 6, or 5 of. No, actually, I don't think it is all 6, or maybe Sinister is part of the 6, or maybe the character that they catch is part of the. I don't remember, but it's systematic. They get taken down by these characters, and you see them on the cover. It's Black Cat, it's Omega Red, it is Lady Phantom X, it is Domino, and it is Havoc, and of course Sinister 6 in the back. You see Venom on the cover. Venom is the creature that they are hunting, and they use the Daughters of the Dragon as some type of bait to catch him. And we find out, spoiler alert, minor spoiler, I don't know if it said it in the description or not, but Sinister has been trying to find a cure for this X gene bomb that attacked the world, so many years ago, and transformed it and killed all the humans and everything, and it has done some advanced stuff to anybody that's kind of been manipulated with their genes, and that's what he's done. He's done experiments on all of them, so some of them have had adverse effects to this and everything. So that was, for some reason, Venom ties into that. The symbiote, the way it kind of defended against the virus is a key to this part of it. I thought it was interesting. I liked the opening. I liked the, being introduced to the team the way that we were, and how they kind of hunted down Venom and by way of the Darters of the Dragon and everything. I thought that was interesting. I thought the powers that Misty and Colleen developed by the X gene bomb were kind of cool, and all of that. So, and going forward, it seems like Sinister is taking his six to face off against Revelation, which is interesting. So, not a perfect issue. Uh, it didn't. It took a minute to really pull me into it, and then of course with Mister Sinister, who I'm not a huge fan of, at least the modern version of Mister Sinister. Um, yeah, it was one of those, like, kind of like it. I kind of want to know what's going on. It's not my favorite of the Age of Revelation books yet, but it did give me enough to hang on for a second issue, I think. And plus, I like all these characters. I love Black Cat. I like Havoc. I like Domino. Um, you know. So, and if Misty Knight and Colleen Wing are going to be in this too, I don't know if they're going to continue being in it or not, or if they were just kind of a one-off thing. But if they are, that's exciting as well. So for now, I'm going to stick with it. And yeah, so I enjoyed it for what it was. Next up, we have another Age of X-Men, or X-Men Age of Revelation book, Iron and Frost. And this one was written by Kevin Scott with art by Ruane Coleman and inks by Roberto Poggi. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that. Anyway, this this was kind of a cool story. It was Emma Frost attacked. She was kind of teaming up with it was, I think it was 3 years ago from the yeah, I think, like, Age of Revelation takes place 10 years in the future, so I think this was 7 years in the future or something like that. If I might be getting that backwards, and it might have been 7 years ago. It was before the present day in Age of Revelation. Okay, it was a few years before that. And Emma Frost is teamed up with War Machine and Iron Man, and I forget who else. There was somebody else there as well. And there was oh god, I can't think of who else it was. Anyway, so Emma gets attacked. She gets injured badly by the choristers, or the it was a Firestar. Firestar was there, by the right hand people of Revelation, his seraphims and his choristers, or whatever, these people that are working for him, which I can't remember their names. They were, some other mutant characters. But anyway, they fatally wounded Emma Frost, forcing her into her diamond form, because when she's in her diamond form, it kind of protects her from all her. It's kind of like the symbiote thing. It kind of protects her from all the elements. But unlike the symbiote thing, if she releases the diamond form and goes back to her normal form, it doesn't heal her. She's gonna basically die instantly. So she's stuck in her diamond form, which means she no longer has her psychic power. So it kind of took her off the board in that way, which was kind of clever. And at the same time, she gets lost in this rubble, in this giant hole, and the Avengers mansion gets buried in there as well. And Iron Man has to go. He has to leave. He's devastated. She reads his mind during this, before she transforms. and realizes how much he actually cared for her. We get a little bit of a recap of when they were together, when they were doing their pretend marriage thing, and both of them realizing their feelings were actually a lot more real than they realized at the time. And yeah, so years after that, he finds her, um, but it's too late, or she finds him because she escaped herself, and then he had gone back to look for her. And when she finds him, when she gets there again, because she felt pulled to this Avengers mansion thing in the hole, she finds a whole different Tony. We don't know what's happened exactly. Something obviously dark has happened with Tony, because out walks this Iron Man that has like a metal face, and it's Tony's face, but it's not the helmet and everything. So interesting development there, but we don't know exactly what happened. It was a decent setup issue, but since these are only 3 issues, you gotta fill that gap. You gotta close that gap really fast. But I thought it was a pretty solid first issue to this. It wasn't exactly what I was hoping for, but it wasn't totally something different than I wanted, right? It still was kind of connecting to that relationship between Tony and Emma, which is what I wanted to kind of delve into, and I wanted to see where their characters went. Unfortunately, it was, a very dark twist for both of them, because something, dire and drastic has happened to both of them apparently. And it's kind of made it impossible for them to kind of explore that now. But it gives more weight to this world, even though if you try to put yourself outside of the fact that this whole future doesn't really matter, because they're gonna find a way to fix it and go back to theirs, um, and so that this never happens. I understand that, but if you can put that outside of your mind and just kind of invest in this world for what it is, it gives it weight. It gives it, you know, um, the feeling that nobody's off the table. Everybody can be damaged, can be hurt, can die. All this stuff. There's consequences within this future, and so that made it more interesting for me. So there you go. And the last book we're going to talk about is yet another Age of Revelation book, which is Unbreakable X-Men issue 1. This is basically the continuation of Uncanny X-Men. This is written by Gail Simone with art by Lucas Wernock. And this follows Rogue and Gambit, and it actually has a ID from the X-Men book, and it has Ransom, who was one of the new kids in the book. He was the only one there from that group, I believe. And there might have been one or two other characters. I don't remember who they were or if there were. I just remember those core characters, because those are the ones that we focused on. Oh, and it had the daughter of the guy that ran Haven House. If you've been reading Uncanny X-Men, the little girl, she's grown up now. And so this one also was a few years before the present day in the Age of Revelation, so we could find out what happened to Rogue. As you see the tombstone on there, and we see that Gambit's blind. That none of that's a spoiler. That's actually on the cover. What happens in the early pages of this book is Galactus shows up. Galactus shows up looking for a herald. And Rogue uses everything within her to absorb his powers, and it kills her. And it kills Galactus in the process, or so we think. And so now Gambit is devastated. His life is basically over. He's going blind. He's sitting there. Everybody's just trying to tell him to move on. He can't do it. Meanwhile, everyone else is moving on around him. I won't spoil why Rogue killed him. There was a reason. It ties into one of the other characters and all of this stuff. And I'm sure it's going to play into what happens later. Obviously, they're still on top of the penumbra. They're trying to, protect the Dark Artery and all that stuff. And that comes into play here. That comes into play of the return of Galactus and future issues and so on and so forth. But yeah, this was a very kind of a character heavy, a very personal issue, because it was told first from the perspective of Rogue before she did that. And then after that, Gambit's narration, his inner monologue took over, and it was him trying to deal with his grief in every way possible, and just being a broken person without his other half. And it was kind of tragically beautiful in that way, um, which was not what I was expecting from this book at all. And it really kind of pulled me in that way. I thought it was a really strong and powerful story, especially if you're a big Rogue and Gambit fan. I love them from the 90s X-Men, cartoon, and from the Jim Lee run, Jim Lee, Chris Claremont run on X-Men. These were core characters for the X-Men for me for many years. So I have an affinity towards them. Um, and so, yeah, this was kind of a powerful story in that way, and it wasn't what I was expecting. So, in that way, it kind of won me over. So, yeah, I'm definitely on board for this one as well, which I didn't honestly expect because I hadn't loved the whole Haven House stuff, and we'll see how heavy we get into that in the next issue. But if I read the next issue, it's only 3, so I'm gonna finish it. So, anyway, that's that one. And with that, we are going to dive into a few honorable mentions and then those rated books. So let's get to it. First up for the honorable mentions, and this was a last minute addition to it, and I just wanted to talk about this one briefly. But this is the Batman Day 2025 Batman Gotham Sampler, issue number 1. And the reason that I wanted to include this one is because it includes a preview of Night Fight. It also includes a preview of Batman issue 1, so it does have some reprinted material in it. So I want to make you aware of that. This is a 48-page book. It does not have a price on here. I assume it's just it might be a freebie. I'm not exactly sure, actually, now that I'm looking at it. But anyway, you definitely want to get your hands on this if you are following DC K.O. If you don't want to wait for December, because this does include a preview of Night Fight, which is the Batman book tie-in to the DC K.O. stuff in December, and this follows Batman's journey after what happened to him in DC K.O. issue 1. This is his journey after that fact, and where he's headed towards after that incident happened. So if you definitely want to check out a preview of this, you want to pick this up. Next up, we have Captain Henry in the Graveyard of Time. This is written by Mike Mignola and Bruce Zick, and this is a kind of a monster story taking place in, as it says, an uncharted corner of the Hellboy universe. So if you're a big Hellboy fan and you like all things monster, and it's that time of year and stuff, you might want to check this one out. Then from AWA, we have Gaia. This is actually a sci-fi science fiction anthology series or one shot. I don't know if it's a one shot or a series. Anyway, it's 48 pages, $6.99, and it has a bunch of different stories within AWA. If you're a big AWA fan, if you follow all their books, you want to check this one out. I don't get all their books. What I have read from them, I have enjoyed. Not everything was my cup of tea, but what I do get, I do enjoy. This is written by Michael Coast and Catherine Murdoch with art by Kieran Grant. I'm not familiar with the writers, but if you are, check it out. They have this series from Futurific Studios, which they've done a brief history of the future on PBS and explores many possible futures to come, etc., etc. So if you like those kind of stories, that kind of vibe, check it out. The last two, you might be surprised that they are on my honorable mention list and not on my main list, and I'm going to explain why. This one is Speed Racer Tales from the Road issue 1, and this is written by Mark London and David Pepos with art by Sebastian Perez. And the reason this one is on my list, by the way, it's 40 pages for $6.99. The reason this is on my list is because I don't always get the peripheral books, the spin-off, like one shots or short series that tie into the main book, because I have so much that I read that I can't keep adding stuff on, so I don't always get the peripheral stuff. And we've seen Mad Cave has done this with like the Gatchaman stuff. They did a bunch of like one shots and spinoffs and stuff. Dynamite's done with Flash Gordon, and they're not always as strong. With the writers involved with this one probably is going to be good. You do have a Racer X story, but you also have a silly backup story where Spritle and Chim Chim steal the Mach 5 and go on a joyride and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to totally immerse yourself in the world of Speed Racer, definitely check this out. I don't know whether I'll be getting this or not, but I might. So that's why it's on honorable mention. And the last honorable mention is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Halloween Special. Again, same reason as before, all the peripheral stuff. I like the main series. I think, everything Boom has done with Power Rangers has been fantastic. I don't know if I'm going to get this one. This is written by, or it has a bunch of writers involved. We got Cena Grace, Danny Lore, Megan Camarina, and Nick Marino, with art by Jody Nishijima, Juan Romero, and Zachary Sterling. And yeah, it's the first ever Power Rangers Halloween one shot, and it has the return of the pumpkin wrapper and the debut of the sugary Colonel Maze. So if that sounds like a good time to you, go check this one out. But with that, we're going to get into those rated books. Speaking of Halloween, the first book we have to talk about is Hello Halloween, issue 1. This is from Boom Studios. This is 40 pages, $5.99, written by R.L. Stine and Sean Patrick Boyd and Robert Hack and Megan Hutchison, who also does art, along with Elijah Henry and Carola Borelli. Anytime there's a Carola Borelli book or a story that's illustrated by her, I am paying attention. You all know I love Carola Borelli. Worked with Carola on my wife's book. She's just a fantastic artist and great to work with. And she's done some Goosebumps stuff before. This is R.L. Stine. So obviously, Goosebumps vibes here. It's an anthology series. It returns for another installment this year. It says featuring top tier talent and can't miss brand new Graveyard Club story from horror master R.L. Stine and artist Carola Borelli. So yeah, if you're a big fan of the Graveyard Club, you might want to check this one out. It is an anthology, so I don't know for sure if I'm going to get this or not, because I don't pick up a whole lot of anthologies in the direct market. But it does sound interesting, and I'll give it a potentially good for that reason, and for the reason, Carola Borelli being involved as well, and R.L. Stine, being involved. So there you go, potentially good for Hello Halloween. Next up is a book that definitely would not typically be on my list of books to check out, but this one kind of sounded interesting. This is from Oni Press. This is Outlaw Showdown issue 1. This is from the EC Comics brand, and this is their first ever giant-sized 56-page special celebrating revenge and retribution on the lawless frontiers of the Old West. This is written by Brian Azzarello, another reason, and John Arcudi and Ann Docenti and Tony Moore. So you got superstar writers involved. Tony Moore also doing art, as well as David Lapham. So you got top-notch, top-tier talent in this book. And obviously, if it's the EC brand, it's leaning into horror. So you got the Wild West horror story by top creators who are known for kind of gritty work as well. And yeah, so very interesting, and I might check this one out. So I'm going to give this one also a potentially good. Totally skipping over spooky season and going straight to the later in the year holidays with Thanksgiving from Ahoy Comics. Thanksgiving issue 1. This is written by Mark Russell, popped up on this list again, and Elaine Morissette doing the art. And this is basically it looks like a slasher story that takes place at Thanksgiving. It says a day when American families come together until the strain inevitably tears them apart. But for one family, the cruel and deadly secret of the turkey neck killer binds them together in the saddest, most shameful way possible. So sounds like a typical Mark Russell kind of story, but the kind that I gravitate towards. So I'm definitely gonna check this one out. It's interesting. This is a 48-page book for $7.99. That's a little bit pricey, but yeah, if that sounds like your vibe, check it out. For me, I'm going to give this one also a potentially good. Next, from Mad Cave Studios, we have Warwolf issue 1. This is written by Steve Orlando, which is the reason it's on my radar, and art is by Marco Perugini. This is about a character who fends off an alien invasion, um, and he was a security guard that fended off an alien invasion. Now he's the Earth's greatest hero because of this, accomplishment and everything. So he's, a celebrity basically now, and now he's the head of Earth's first orbital security force. He's married into the high political families. He's got endorsements and everywhere. But why is he nervous? Because he knows that victory was a lie. The aliens return stronger than ever, and he has no choice but to be the hero he's fooled the whole world into thinking that he is. So that is a very interesting story to me. He's kind of caught up in this whole thing. They've mistaken his victory or whatever happens as a victory, and he's become a hero and a celebrity and moved up in the world and gotten married based on this whole lie that he was some hero, and now he's actually got to be the hero, and that's probably going to go really bad. So I'm down for it. And I'm going to give that one, actually, I wrote down potentially, but I'm going to give that one a promisingly good, because the more I thought about it, the more it kind of pulled me in. So promisingly good for Warwolf, issue 1 from Mad Cave. Next, we have from Dynamite, the latest Terminator series, the Terminator Metal issue 1. And this one takes place in the aftermath of Judgment Day, the movie. So different from the previous series that we had. This one is taking place set in a specific part of that movie franchise, and that's an interesting time period to take place in. This one is written by Declan Shalvey with and Roy Mercanabile, with artist Lorenzo Ray, who I've worked with as well. So Lorenzo's fantastic as well. This is the brand new chapter of the chilling saga of War Against the Machines. And this features a member of the Resistance trapped behind enemy lines during this time period. And he's repurposed this Terminator to find a way for both of them to survive and complete this mission and all this stuff. So very interesting story. Again, time period, great creative team and everything. So yeah, this one could be really fun. So I'm going to give this one a potentially good. And the only reason I'm giving it a potentially good instead of a promisingly is because I kind of fell off the last Terminator series. At first, it really won me over for the first couple of issues, and then it just kind of lost me a little bit. So I'm just hoping that this one will be a little bit stronger for me personally. So potentially good for Terminator Metal. Next up is Green Lantern 28. Not a first issue, but a brand new story arc following the Starbreaker Supremacy arc that we just came out of, that was crossover between the books. Now we're digging into, it looks like going back into the personal lives of Hal Jordan and Star Sapphire Carol Ferris, based on the cover there and the Star Cross and everything. But the story has a page that is discovered in the Book of Oa, and it only has the 2 words Hal Jordan. And this sends Hal Jordan into a mystery with massive ramifications. Green Lantern has been fantastic, and Jeremy Adams is just killing it. And this has art by Vikin Marion, by the way. So yeah, there's no way this is not going to be good, but I'm going to give this a promisingly good, and I can't wait to dig into this next arc of Green Lantern. Okay, this one I'm not as excited about, but it definitely bears mentioning because it is part of the X-Men Age of Revelation line. This is The Last Wolverine issue 1. This is written by Saladin Ahmed with art by Edgar Salazar. And this is all centered around Wendigo. And this is a character. It's not the Wendigo from Alpha Flight. This is a character that was in the Wolverine series that popped up a couple of arcs ago, I think. And it was this kid that got bit by this Wendigo. He's like a teenager or early. He's a very young kid, teenager or early 20s, something like that. Well, not very young, but young. And Logan kind of takes him under his wing, teaches him, that he can control his urges, his hunger, and all this stuff. I didn't love that story, so we're following that character, who is he's kind of been inspired by Logan and all that stuff that happened, and the secret from Wolverine's past will set this last Wolverine, who's taken up that mantle, that guise, that outfit, and everything, on a mission to uphold his mentor's legacy. But we're gonna see what happens when, I guess, he comes face to face with that former mentor that, is being controlled by the Revelation. So yeah, I'm not super excited about this one, so I'm gonna give this one a possibly good, just because, again, I didn't love the Wendigo story um, in the Wolverine series, but maybe it'll surprise me if I get it. I don't know if I'm gonna pick this one up or not. This might be one of the ones that I skip, but definitely wanted to point it out for all you Wolverine fans. If you really enjoyed that Wendigo story, you might want to check this one out. Next, we have X-Men Book of Revelation issue 1. This is also part of the Age of Revelation, obviously. And this one is written by Jed MacKay with art by Nitho Diaz. I typically like Jed MacKay's writing. I loved his run on Black Cat. His X-Men run has been hit and miss, honestly, for me. But the beauty of this one is in the description, because it kind of won me over. This was kind of on the fence for me, even though I see some characters kind of teased in that cover image that kind of intrigued me, like Sunspot, because I'm a big Sunspot fan. But I was still kind of on the fence with this one until I read in the description that this mutant that challenges Revelation has an ally, which is known as the Ghost of Philadelphia, which I believe is Kitty Pryde or Kate Pryde, however, whatever she's going by these days. But I'm a big Kitty Pryde fan, and if Kitty Pryde's going to be in this book, I'm definitely paying attention to this, and I'm going to pick it up. So yeah, that changed everything for me. Yeah, so based on that alone, I'm giving this one a promisingly good, and we'll see. Maybe it'll let me down, maybe it'll be better than I expect, so I don't know. Then we have another Age of Revelation book, which is Omega Kids issue 1. This one is written by Tony Fleeks with art by Andres Ginolet. I'm a big Tony Fleeks mark. I love Tony Fleeks stuff. Anything he writes, I'm picking up. This concept alone doesn't win me over, but Tony Fleeks writing this concept, total game changer for me. And it's just, he's that good in my eyes. So this is all about Quentin Quire, who has his little Omega Kids that he uses to spy on the rebellion, basically, the X-Men that are trying to rise up to challenge Revelation. So Quentin Quire, this series is all about him and this network of spies that he's put together. But with Tony Fleeks at the helm, I'm paying attention, and I'm giving this one a promisingly good, solely based on the writer of this one. And yeah, we'll see what this miniseries is all about. And the last rated book we have to talk about is yet another Age of Revelation book. This one is Radioactive Spider-Man. You should know me well enough to know that if it has Spider-Man in the title, I'm probably going to pick it up. So yeah, this is one that I will definitely not be passing on. This one is written by Joe Kelly with art by Kev Walker, and this is what it calls. I'm going to read what it says. This is the most dangerous mutated Spider-Man ever, and he's not alone. So Peter Parker doses himself with a lethal radiation to try to hold the infection, the X gene bomb infection, away, because I guess he's one of the unlucky ones that it was killing him. So mixed with this radiation, I guess it transformed him in a very gruesome kind of way, as we see different kinds of arms poking out of him and everything. So interesting development there. So we're gonna this seems like it's going to be an interesting story, and I'm definitely intrigued by this one the most. So at the same time, I don't know how to feel about this one, but I'm definitely picking it up. But I'm going to give it a potentially good, just because I'm a little scared of it. I'm a little scared of what they're doing to my boy Petey here. So we'll see. we'll see what happens with it. But yeah, for now, it's potentially good for me. And with that, we will go into a few other books that are not first issues that I am anticipating. Here is the list this week. First up, we've got Ultimate Spider-Man issue 22. Very sad that this book is ending, even though it hasn't been the strongest in the past couple of issues. It's the best book Marvel's putting out, hands down. And I'm kind of sad to see it go. And apparently somebody's dying in this issue. The description says the last will and testament of Redacted. So we don't know. Somebody's going to die. So it's sad all around, but I still want to see what happens with this book. Sticking with the Ultimate Universe, we got the Ultimates issue at number 17 as we get our introduction to the Ultimate Fantastic Four. And that's all you really got to say about that one. Superman issue number 31, a DC K.O. tie-in. Obviously, this book has been good, been really consistently good before DC K.O., and it's going to continue to as we tie it in now, as we learn what is the heart of Apocalypse and the how the origins of it are tied to Krypton. And so that's going to be an interesting story. And apparently the Darkseid's Legion are trying to keep Superman from finding out. And based on the announcement that we got from New York Comic-Con that Josh Williamson is going to be writing a Legion of Superheroes series, it's definitely going to be a Legion-heavy story as well. So excited for that one. Speaking of DC K.O. tie-ins, we've also got Justice League Unlimited issue number 12, and the tournament has begun. The Earth is growing more dire. Now there's a signal emitting from the heart of Apocalypse, and from the core of the planet, and it's a Terrific device. And now Michael Holt, aka Mr. Terrific, has to figure out what's going on and put together a squad, and lean on the heroes of We Are Yesterday to unravel this mystery. So yeah, just another fun tie-in to this overall series. It looks like we're getting Batman Beyond in this one. So yeah, exciting issue for that. Exquisite Corpses number 6. It says Trick or Treat has never been deadly, had deadlier stakes. Of course, this is all taking place on Halloween night, and everything's so very timely with that, especially with this one. So we're gonna get Gamer Kid in this issue apparently, and the multi-hyphenated talent Tyler Boss is co-writing this with James Tynion in this issue, and art by Michael Walsh and Gavin Fullerton. So I don't know if this is okay. So we're gonna have two different art styles, two different writing styles. I don't know if it's gonna be broken into chapters or if we're doing like flashback scene or what exactly we're doing here. But that's interesting and that's exciting. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Skinbreaker issue 2. First issue I really enjoyed. Didn't blow me away, but it definitely got me interested in the story. This is kind of my genre. Anytime you're dealing with kind of fantasy and things like this. So yeah, now a new elder has to be chosen through combat. So we're going to see the fight, I guess, in this issue. So we'll see what happens with this. Fantastic Four issue number 4. Alicia has returned from a sculpture convention in this issue, and the Fantastic Four have a new pet. They think it's a dog. She, through her other senses, figures out this is not a dog, and things go very wrong. And so that just sounds like a fun, goofy time, and I'm here for it. And then Predator Kills the Marvel Universe, issue number 3. It says Earth's Mightiest Prey, and it looks like he's going after Wolverine, or Wolverine and Spider-Man are taking the lead to defend against these Predators now. So we're going to see Wolverine and Spider-Man team up against the Predators. So that's going to be a fun time. This has been a really solid book as well. And with that, that's all I got to talk about. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Let me know which of these books in the comments below that you are looking forward to, which ones you're picking up, which ones you're skipping. Love to hear all of that. Any feedback whatsoever at all. Love interacting with you all. Appreciate you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. consider hitting that subscribe and notification bell so you don't miss any of the episodes going up on the show. Check out my TikTok and all my social media at Only Good Comics, or type in onlygoodcomics.com to take you right back to this YouTube channel where we talk about only good comics. Until next time, thanks for watching. Take care, keep reading those comics, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Why did I do that?